Da 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 da. Hey guys, it's David Blaine with another episode of Life from a Curious Mind. This week is a very interesting episode that it's more of a personal story about lifestyle, health, and happiness and all the other good things about being a healthy individual. Um, so really, for more information about this episode, I really suggest you look at my blog. I spent more time there writing down some specifics, especially around my diet and workout routine for this particular blog. What we're going to cover today is just around cholesterol, having bad cholesterol, and how to lower your bad cholesterol and raise your good cholesterol. I'll go into more detail about that in my blog, and there's going to be a lot of really nitty gritty detail about how I really accomplished this. So long story short, I was able to do really good work in about 30 days, maybe a little bit more, about a month worth of work, working out, dieting, and everything to get my cholesterol back on track. So definitely, let's say it again. Check out my blog for the specifics in case I leave anything out of this. The story behind this, to kind of set everything up, for me personally, I am pretty young considering someone who could have bad cholesterol. Usually these things are genetic, or you just have poor lifestyle choices. There's a lot of contributing factors. A lot of those you do want to pay attention to, but at the same time, I'm just kind of setting the stage for my personal experience here. To kind of give you a little more information, I'm about your average, male size, 5'10", 168 pounds now. I was 178 when I first started, before this little exercise diet routine that I got into. Back when I was first given my lab results, I was at this average height and weight. So, long story short, basically, I needed to go in for my yearly physical, and it's been several years. So, I knew in the past I'd actually had high triglycerides, which are not your necessary cholesterol, but they can. I think the way it works is they are part of what can work with your cholesterol to make it worse, your body worse in dealing with bad cholesterol. I'm not really sure on the full details of it. Essentially, there's a range of a couple hundred to a more couple hundred that put you at risk of maybe getting heart disease if you are exposed this way for a long time or you live this way for a long time. So high triglycerides are bad, but they are more common, I think, especially genetically. And you'd have to check all your facts on that. Definitely not a doctor, just a researched guy that, had an issue and I had to fix it. So definitely do your research there, coordinate with your doctor, etc. So kind of what I knew going into this is that I'm a skinny guy. Growing up, I had what people would be like, you have high metabolism. I usually eat a lot. I never really worried about really eating anything. I mean, I just ate, and if I felt shitty or something, I would just stop doing that particular thing. Or if I just knew, over time I would be damaging my body a lot, I wouldn't try to build habits around certain things. So I do have a general knowledge and discipline around eating, but it's when it comes down to feeling good, doing what I want to do, I'm usually pretty just open and liberal about doing whatever I fucking want. So that's a pretty terrible way to live your life. If you, the older I get, the more I expect not to be able to get away with that. I do kind of keep myself healthy in trying to balance out my misbehaving. So every time there's a long period of drinking or there's a lot of carb intake or lots of food, I'll take vitamins or work out or do something to kind of offset that. In the past year or two, I think me working more and kind of getting into the corporate environment, I more or less just slacked off on a lot of this stuff. So going into my doctor, I kind of knew there's going to be something I probably need to work on. And I was just kind of like, give it to me straight, doc. Let's get this thing, whatever it is, I know I've probably got something I got to cut out here. So I was really upfront about dealing with stuff. I said, yeah, pretty shitty diet. Basically, eat out whenever I want. I'll eat late night. I'll, booze it up on the weekends. All the stuff that, you're not supposed to do, essentially. Not watching carbs or calories or anything like that. I put on a couple of pounds, and I knew, like, over the past year or two, I could tell you how much fat. I can just see my stomach popping out more and more. So it's not something I was proud of anyway. Going to the beach and the pool now was actually the first time in my life ever that I've even considered myself looking, really as like a fat person. I was like, I am a fat person right now. And I'm not trying to belittle anybody who, may struggle with being overweight or anything like that. I'm just saying for myself, I was always a skinny kid, and that comes with all its benefits and negative stigmas as well. But, so seeing myself in this light and looking in the mirror, I'm getting disgusted. My face is getting fatter. And basically I just knew I needed to do something. So I went to the doctor. I'm getting my blood work done. I said, Doc, here's what I'm doing. Here's all the pills I'm taking. I sometimes have trouble sleeping, so I take melatonin. Sometimes I'll be drinking a lot, so I'll take a vitamin B at night so I can get rid of my hangover the next day. So there's like little tricks like that I would do, and then I'd be doing pretty infrequently though. I got really bad about taking vitamins. I wouldn't really worry about that kind of stuff. But I was pretty good about grocery shopping, at least for breakfast foods and potentially some dinners, although I was eating out a lot for dinners and lunch. So essentially, lots of the times in the morning, I would eat a smoothie, partially because it's easy to do. And if you buy groceries every week, it's pretty healthy too. So I knew doing that was a good thing. But I actually made a couple mistakes as well that I did not know. When I found out I had high cholesterol, I went and we got my blood work done. I had low HDLs, which are your good cholesterol. It helps your body get rid of the junk in the bloodstream, essentially, so that it just flushes out of your body. I had high LDLs and VLDLs cholesterol, which are known as your bad cholesterol. And like I said earlier, I had high triglycerides, not overly high. They said it was in a range from, I think it was like 200 to 800. And I was I think it's like 140 would be the highest you'd want to be. And I was it's like the 240, 250 range, which is actually not that bad, my doctor said. But he said, if you go up to like someone who's really bad triglycerides will be in, the 600 to 800 range, I think it was. But definitely check my facts there and make sure you do your research before you quote me on any of that shit. So basically found out high cholesterol. Okay, I need to focus on that. So really simple approach. I need to do research on what, can bring this down. And I'm just going to break it down for you real quick here. First things first, if you want to do anything to go on a diet, you want to increase your immune health, there's a couple things you want to do. You want to focus on de-stressing, and that can mean just have a better attitude. Try to focus on, what you can do every day to make yourself happy. Don't overstress. If this is your new priority, is your diet and your exercise. So for the next month, at least 2 months, maybe 3 months, depending on how bad you are, I would just say, this is my health, and at least for the next 3 months. And you can continue after that, but maybe you want to reshuffle your goals at that point, what your health goals are. But at this point, you have one goal, and that's to get healthy. So think about things that make you happy. Definitely don't overcommit to a lot of stuff. I started doing yoga every Monday in my basement alone. One thing for a guy, it's kind of hard to go do yoga and feel like you fit in, because it's usually a bunch of girls. And that's just how it is. So I usually just do it alone, and I watch a video or something to mimic, and that way it's pretty easy. So That's a really good thing for Mondays. Mondays, I don't really ever feel like getting to the gym. I don't feel like dealing with people. It's just a fucking Monday. It's a Monday. No one likes Mondays, so it's a great time to do yoga for me. So I get home, I'll chill, eat some dinner. Well, in this case, I switched to smoothies, so I'll drink a smoothie, wait an hour or so, and when it gets to be kind of like late, maybe 8:30, I'll do yoga. So it's right before I'm about to tone it down and wind down for bed. If I've been drinking on the weekend, even on Sunday or something, this is definitely the night that you need to clear that out and make sure that you give yourself a clean system to start the workout week. So my goals on Monday are trying to just clean my body out, make sure that it's completely free of toxins and bad energy, whatever that means to you. Essentially, just feeling happy and composed. Watching something at night when you're falling asleep, reading a book, meditating, whatever you got to do to kind of get yourself in the mode. On the weekends, I've also been doing some like coursework, so I try not to do anything strenuous there. I mean, this is like your day for pleasure after the first day of work when you're probably given a lot of shit to do in the morning. So you want to tone all that back, refocus for the workout and work week. So I usually watch something very easy, documentary stuff at night, if I watch anything at all. So basically stuff that makes you feel happy, like travel documentaries about going places, food documentaries about chefs, all that could make you hungry. So don't do that if you're going to start going and pigging out downstairs. All right. So that's kind of like the first day in the life of your first lesson. Second lesson we need to think about are the pills and the other immune health items that you're going to want to throw in to really target this high cholesterol and low good cholesterol problem. So we know when I went to the doctor, he just said low carb diet. He said focus on working out, and that's it. So I was like, you know what? That's great. I'm young, so he's probably not really that worried about me now. Maybe he would be if I was 40 or 50. So he's probably just cutting me a little slack. He's like, this guy will figure it out eventually. Not right now. But I don't work that way, so I want to get this shit back into gear here. And the one way I decided to do that is really hit this thing hard, working out 5 days a week and targeting some well-known vitamins and supplements that could really help turn this thing on. So with the immune health, there's a couple of vitamins that you want to do. Vitamin C's, D's, and B's. D's are for your immune health overall. There's been studies that show it helps with depression, that it helps with your overall body's ability to deal with itself, essentially. So it's like hanging out in the sun for a while, and that little sun high that you get from being out in the sun. That's really just the exposure to your body with a lot of vitamin D, and you just feel good. They say that it helps with depression and a lot of other things. It also helps you from getting sick as much, lower stress, just helps your body fight off bad shit in your shit, whatever. So vitamin B is really helping your energy level. From what I understand, it's more metabolic, so it helps you break down foods and store energy in your muscles and brain more. And so you're able to kind of put things to work that weren't working before. It's also helps you stay hydrated in some ways, I think. So you want to take it after you've been drinking or something like that to help your body kind of overcome the shit you just put in there. Vitamin C, everyone knows the orange juice guide to success, I guess. I'm just kind of making this shit up, but vitamin C is known to help your immune system a lot. So throwing that in there is always a good one, and I just do that regularly. One thing to note here is I also take most of all my pills at night. That's because during the day, sometimes I'll feel the side effects of taking too many vitamins. And either that could be like some lethargic feelings. Sometimes I get a slowness, I think, because if I've been gorging on sugars and stuff on the weekend or something, and then I come back on Monday and I start doing this or what you're definitely going to feel if you dive straight into this diet hardcore is you're going to feel the lack of sugars and carbs, and you'll probably feel slightly depressed because of the first few days without sugars and stuff. So I take these at night when I'm about to sleep with the melatonin. I get knocked out. The vitamins do their work. I don't feel anything. I wake up good to go. So I've just been doing it that way. Sometimes I have associated vitamin D with like a foggy headed feeling. I'm not really sure if those are related at all, but it's like this spacey feeling when you're at work and you feel like you're just having trouble focusing. But that could be a lot of other things as well. So a couple other things to think about here. I always started taking niacin, but then I found out later that my doctor did not recommend that. So if that's one you're thinking about doing, I would check with your doctor. Apparently it's kind of been overruled as actually doing anything good for your body. So I would recommend avoiding that one if you can. The other ones, one of the major things that I did here to focus on was fiber. Fiber really solved a lot of the problems that I was having. I mean, I think that mixed with the low carb diet kind of told my body, hey, we're good to go. Like we're back in business here. So what I did with fiber is I got the powdered fiber. Like you've seen those Metamucil commercials or Benefiber, I think it is, one of those. But you don't have to get that fancy stuff. All you want to make sure is that you're getting about 3 grams of fiber. And I think I included a link in my blog to the type of fiber I'm using. So it's really just a powder that you can mix in with your smoothie or with just water and just chug it real quick during the day. And actually, I recommend doing that at lunch because right after lunch, if you're on this diet, you're going to get pretty hungry if you don't do something to suppress your appetite. So the pills that I suggested, including fiber into your diet 3 times a day, 2 teaspoons. Sorry, so it's not a whole lot. You don't want to go overboard here. And you will feel really gassy for the first week or two. Or if you just take a lot all at once, essentially. After a while, my body has started to get used to a lot of fiber, and it just doesn't really complain anymore. I mean, sometimes I'll have to take a bathroom break more than I would, but it's really not like you'll definitely notice it right away when you start, but over time it goes away. And if it's unpleasant, I mean, just think about how much worse it is when you're gorging your face with bad food, essentially. So this is the trade-off. You either get a lot of bad food cravings or appetite cravings, or you can have some gassy feelings for like a week, but you don't really feel it. The cravings that bad when you chug some fiber. I mean, I really contribute fiber to making it possible for me not to get hungry during lunch. So I really, really, really strongly recommend using fiber, but definitely check with your doctor about all that because I'm not a health professional here. So. Okay, so fiber is a good one. Vitamin D, vitamin B, vitamin C. Let me just check this. Let me check my list here. So, okay. Yeah, so that's it. Really, those are the 3. What missed one big one here. Fish oil is one of the only things that most official blogs like Mayo Clinic or health.gov were recommending. They said, really, if you have high cholesterol and you want just a supplement that you can get over the counter to help with cholesterol, they said fish oil is really the number one thing to help take it down faster. So fish oil will help you a lot. I recommend around 3,000 milligrams a day, which that worked for me, which is about 2 pills. I stacked up about 2 pills, and even when I first started off, I was doing 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Definitely check with your doctor on that. I just didn't really think it would make much of a difference to me, and it didn't really do anything. So I can say that it worked for me, but not going to say that it will work for you because no one's the same like that. But vitamin C, I did about 2,000 milligrams a day. I did vitamin D about 4,000 UI, whatever that means. So it just depends based on the pill, but those were I definitely stayed really hard on those for the first 2 or 3 weeks. And I kind of just slacked off towards the end, but I still do it as much as possible. So here, that's it. So we're thinking about to set all this up, right? We got immune health, supplements, and high fiber being a key ingredient here to really helping you stay off your appetites. So appetite suppressing is a huge tactic here, and especially with any diet that I just kind of decided beforehand getting hungry is gonna suck. So what am I gonna do about this? One thing you can do, there's a couple of things. Mentally, there's a whole game you gotta play with yourself. Mentally, you want to make sure you have some stuff to be focused on during this time. You want to stay busy at work in a good way. You don't want to be stressed out, but you want to be trying to entertain at work so you're not eating anything. If you don't go to work, you want to make sure that you find something to do during the day that is not gorging yourself. One of the easiest ways to do this is don't spend too much time at the grocery store. Don't go when you're hungry, and try to spend only like 40 to 50 bucks, because that's all you're going to need on this diet once a week or so. And that's all I spent, if that. I mean, sometimes it's been more on like a goodie here and there, but that's it. So some other things to keep your appetites down. I drink coffee like a madman, and I have been for a long time. So in the past year or two, I think in the past 2 years, I've taken down my caffeine cup of coffee down to one per day, and the rest is decaf. And I drink that sparingly, but I always have like a warm cup at my desk. And sometimes I take like one sip and it just sits there all day, or sometimes I'll drink like 3 cups or 4 cups of decaf. Just depends. So my appetite's really never that bad at work. I don't have any snacks. However, I will say I was eating chocolate a lot at work. I would keep ordering chocolate because everybody liked it, and they'd come by and get a chocolate at my cube. So that would be something that I would do. But now I've just completely cut that out. Too much sugar. Chocolate's not bad for you in small amounts, but if you can't do it, don't do it. It's just not. There's no point to it. Maybe grab some dark chocolate at the grocery store and get like 1 bar and limit yourself on eating that. But otherwise, don't do that. I'm gonna go really far down rabbit trails here on this podcast today. So I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible, but I want to give you as much information as you can. Again, leave comments on this. Let me know if you need more information. Be happy to try to research it for you. But essentially, I just want to share what worked with me, and we're getting into that. So appetite suppressants are huge parts of making sure you stay on your diet plan, right? Because you don't want to get hungry and gorge yourself. So when you go to the grocery store, don't buy too much. Also, you want to maybe buy a couple of snacks. And for snacks, I recommend something really simple. My favorite go-tos are carrots and hummus. And make sure the hummus isn't like high fat or high cholesterol. No cholesterol. Try to get everything with 0 cholesterol in it. And just make sure that high fats are okay when you're working out a lot. So high fats are great if you're going to need that anyway. You're going to burn that shit off. But high fats are not necessarily bad for you. It just depends on the type of fat. I don't know much about all that. Just make sure when you're reading the back of the nutrition labels, and do your due diligence before you buy anything, that it doesn't have cholesterol, and decent amount of fats. And just pay attention to the daily value percentage. If it's like 50% of your daily value, you should probably not even touch that shit. But if it's only 6% or something, as part of your snack, that's not a big deal, because you're not going to eat a whole lot of that, or you shouldn't. So carrots and hummus. It's sometimes, because I started to trust myself a little more, I would get Triscuits or some type of cracker that also has no cholesterol, but it's not really good for you. Essentially, it's just your junk food. So don't treat it as something that's good for you as part of your diet. This is something you should be avoiding, but it's okay to have a little bit of it, just because you're pretty much gonna have to cheat with something. So might as well be Triscuits or some cracker that satisfies that sugar salt craving that you're gonna get. That's fine, as long as you're working out every day. So that kind of covers the basics here. So that kind of gives you an outline, a foundation to start. So I'll go into my daily diet. I have a blender that essentially it's like a NutriBullet. I don't know if you guys if you ever used one of those. It's really easy to just make a smoothie right now and just eat it, and just drink it and you're done. That's why I always do that in the mornings. I was doing that before I started this diet. But after I started this diet, I realized that a lot of my ingredients probably weren't doing me a whole lot of good, and that I need to focus more. So, what you're gonna need when you go shopping at the grocery store to get stocked up on all this stuff is a blender. You're gonna need spinach, a lot of spinach, superfood mix is okay. Something that actually gives you nutrition plus. You want more. You want just nothing. You don't want just essentially like celery. If you eat celery, that's like water in a green stick. I mean, there's really nothing in there worthwhile. If you get spinach or superfood greens, you're going to get a lot of other nutrients that are really good for you. And that also helps you stay full and your body happy, your immune system happy. Essentially just giving it what it needs. Mixed frozen fruits. This is where you're going to get your good carbs and your good sugars and all the good tastes in the morning. So when you're actually trying to enjoy yourself in the morning, this is what you're going to want. So I usually get the mixed frozen fruit. It's usually like a bag of mangoes and peaches and strawberries. I don't really worry. I know there's no cholesterol. I know it's really good for you. So I don't really worry about the type of fruit. Just check your nutrition facts, make sure it's good. And let's see. So I always do the wheat-based fiber powder. And again, like I said, there's a link to that in my blog because it's not immediately clear what that is. So you're gonna have to find that in the diet section. Ask somebody what it looks like. Sometimes it has nothing to do with being in any type of food aisle. It's usually in the medicine or I don't know where you'd look for Metamucil, I guess. So okay, next item would be like orange juice. Low sugar is recommended, but not necessary. I only put like a couple. I don't know, like half a cup in there, maybe a full cup, not much, and then the rest is water. It's low sugar. I usually go for like low sugar if I can. Added calcium or vitamin D if I can. Coconut milk. So you're gonna want some of this. Protein powder that's veggie based, vegetable based that can also double as your superfood or super greens. But make sure it has no cholesterol. One thing that I was doing prior to this diet was actually using protein powder that had pretty high cholesterol in it. It accounted for like 30% of my daily value. So that was just an abnormal amount of cholesterol to be putting in my body when I just worked out, and it's just not a good time. I think for big bodybuilders, that kind of thing is helpful, but for this diet, you're trying to cut that back. So let's get everything balanced out first before you try to be some superhuman machine. Then you can go read about that. Next thing is one thing I love to snack on is natural peanut butter. It's definitely going to make you fat if you chow down on it a lot, but it's really not bad for you if you do the natural one. It would be bad if you had anything that had any refined sugars or anything that's going to essentially slow down your body breaking down the food and digesting it. So after that, baby carrots and Triscuits and hummus, like we just talked about, for snacking. In the mornings, I do the smoothie. I do the orange juice. I do the spinach or power greens, superfood. Sorry, and I mix that with the frozen fruit, orange, like a little bit of orange juice, and mostly water for the liquid base. 2 teaspoons of fiber powder, and a large handful. So the large handful of spinach is usually how much of the greens I put in there, and that's it. You mix all that together, it tastes great. You're not gonna worry about that. It's as soon as you eat that with the fiber, you're gonna be full. Especially if you're brewing coffee right next door. I usually do a French press coffee with it's completely black, and I just make that in a French press, and it's good to go in about 10 minutes. So while you're blending everything together, if you start heating the water up first, by the time you're done blending it, the water will go off, and you can pour the or the water into the coffee. And that's my only regular caffeine cup of the day. The rest of the day I'm doing decaf, and it's still either it's mental or I don't know if it is or not, but it still acts as a appetite suppressant, much like any stimulant would. I think that's supposed to be the caffeine doing it, but I've tricked my brain into thinking that I'm full when I drink it somehow. So usually it works for me. For lunch, this is a little more tricky. You're at work or you're not, but usually it's more convenient to get to a lunch, or maybe you have a lunch meeting with somebody or you're going out to lunch. 9 times out of 10, it's just the worst meal of the day because you're obligated to figure it out on the spot usually. And as much as we all like to prepare, it just doesn't happen. So just always stick to a salad with no chicken or anything. And one thing I want to say is that I'm leaving protein out of a lot of this. That's impossible to do in a diet. You're just going to need protein. So try to get, once in a while, do do a grilled chicken and vegetable platter kind of thing for lunch because you will be working it off. So you do want to do that. But for the most part, always stick to your spinach salad and essentially just intaking as few calories as possible during lunch. And if you're really hungry later, snack on something when you get home from work. Don't do it while you're at work. If you're hungry at work, the first thing you got to do after lunch every day, and I swear you got to do this, is you got to get your fiber powder. You need to have some at work too. Mix that in with a small cup of water that you can chug instantly because it just doesn't taste that great. So just plug it in, just to a glass of water, stir it up. One thing I found helpful is if you go to like the grocery store for lunch, you can get like a packaged salad that's already made. Be careful on the dressing. Don't overdo it because that'll add all that refined sugar crap. It'll add fats and all this extra stuff that you just don't need. So if you have to do that, do it, but don't overdo it on the salad dressing. And when you get back to the office, immediately pour in that fiber powder because you're going to get hungry after a salad. Everybody gets hungry after salad. It's just not enough food. So you need that fiber powder, and as soon as you do, it just adds this weight to your stomach that's great, and you just feel like, oh my god, like I'm not hungry anymore. This is amazing. So do that, and then what I do is I go straight back to the coffee. I go get a cup of coffee, and I start sipping, and then I've told my body I'm really full and I'm ready to start working again. So it's really just a brain hack. I mean, you gotta stay focused. Make sure you just chug that water with fiber without thinking, and you'll be full within like 5 minutes. Go make yourself a cup of coffee. You'll be distracted before you know it and back to work. So just think as soon as you start thinking about, oh, I gotta eat, just don't do it, man. I'm telling you. And one thing you'll notice is after doing this fiber and working out all the time, you won't be that hungry. You just won't. Your body's going to get more efficient at digesting stuff and you just won't need to. Okay, well, let's move on. For dinner, you're going to get home from work. You're going to be probably somewhat hungry. Although I will say after a week or two or probably 3 weeks in, you're really not going to need to eat something right away. I go straight to working out after work, but if you worked out in the morning or something, then you'll be going right home. So just go straight to the smoothie. I suggest not eating too early or too late. So for me, an optimal time is between 7:30 and 8:30, or around then. So around 8 o'clock. After 8, it's too late. You're gonna get too much energy and you can't sleep. too early and you're gonna get hungry again before you go to bed. Neither of which are a bad thing. Solve for either of those by taking a natural sleeping supplement or something your doctor prescribed, or do or if you're still hungry, go eat some of your snack food, which might make you stay awake longer, but that's your own fault. So fuck you if you do that, and that's really the way to solve it. Um, so for dinner, let's go back, take a step back. So let's assume for me, I wanted a different taste. So what I did was I get coconut milk for night, and it adds more of a sweet vanilla flavor. Not vanilla, I guess, but well, you know what coconut tastes like. But if you get my protein powder usually has like a vanilla flavor to it. So um, if you follow the same, essentially the same recipe as before for from breakfast as for dinner. I don't use frozen fruits here unless I don't have bananas. Usually I do a straight banana, just one. I do the fistful of greens and fiber powder and protein powder. The protein powder is, I usually choose this because I've just worked out and protein helps you build muscle. So um, essentially it's like thanking my body for all the hard work. And I'm telling it to get a little bit bigger and cut some of that weight out. So essentially that's the deal. It's a nice, totally different taste than the morning, although you're getting a lot of the same nutrients plus potassium from the banana. So that's really helpful. It's a little more fatty though. Coconut milk has a lot more fat in it than orange juice, but it's good fat for you. And it's really the only fat we're going to have most of the day. So it's okay. And you just worked out, or I did in this scenario. So I don't worry about it. And it's been working for me. So, yeah. Okay. So let's move on. We're getting kind of far into the episode already. So, right, like to start wrapping it up if I can. 37 minutes in. Sorry, this is gonna be a long one. So, workout routine. It's pretty simple for me. I kind of make it up as I go. The rule is my favorite rule is essentially I go to whatever's open, which is not completely true. I do have like a foundation here, a pretty strict set of things that I stick to, but it's usually pretty rotational, and it's optional. You can kind of interweave things, kind of make it up as you go, but have some main points to accomplish here. My main highlights are cardio and weights, and I think my doctor would have erred on the side of cardio. So if you can only make it in for one of the two, do cardio. I definitely, if you want to do this fast, and you want to lose a lot of weight, and you want to get your cholesterol back to where it should be, you're gonna need to do weights. That's just gonna show your body that you gotta step it up a notch. Set weekly goals. And when I say that, I'm not being like over the top, like you got to write everything down. I'm just saying, just try to keep track mentally of how many crunches you're doing, how many, weights you're putting on the dumbbells. Try to go from 20 pounds to 25 pounds. If you're, if you're curling, for example, like one dumbbell in each hand, 20 or 15 or something, try to move up. For example, I started at 20 because I knew I could probably do it just out of previous workout experience. I'm like, probably one thing I didn't say is that I've been working out since I'm like 13. I've always been in the gym, sometimes a lot less frequently and sometimes a lot more. I definitely had a bad habit of going like once every couple of weeks until I started doing this 5-day routine. So let's just say I knew in high school I could do 45 dumbbells, 4 curls in each arm, so around 80 pounds total for curl, or 90 pounds, I guess. So that was like a nice heavy weight back in high school and college, and I knew I would not be able to do that. So I started at 20, and I think right now I'm about at 35, and that's still heavy for me, so I'm still working my way back up to like being really strong and stuff. That's all I mean by setting goals. Basically, I always start every workout with 10 minutes warm up. It's this is the only thing here is to make yourself comfortably heart rate elevated. You don't want to get it too high or too low. You just want to tell it you're about to start working out. So you're going from being lethargic sitting at a desk to now about to lift some weights. So about 10 minutes on the elliptical treadmill. Push yourself a little bit, not too hard. You don't want to go over the top right away. I usually focus on either a light set, so more reps, lower weights, or for the entire workout of that day, or a heavy set for the entire workout, which is less reps and more weight. I focus on 2 muscle groups at least at a time. Sometimes I do more, or I just do a full body workout and just kind of hit everything just to keep myself entertained. I'll do whatever I think is best. I always do at least 50 to 100 ab workout reps while I'm there. So this can be something more core oriented or just straight sit-ups. Just something to get your abs in action. And that's because I knew I was fat and I was like throwing that in there as a just a reward to try to get more of a 6-pack, I guess. And so let's move on. At the end of the workout, I always do a mile run on the treadmill or elliptical. And this is strict. I always do this. This is if you're getting tired, I would cut out some of the weights and then still do the mile run. Maybe do 1 cycle workout and then run, or instead of 2. So normally I do 2 cycles every workout. I focus on doing 3 sets per muscle group or per rotation per exercise. So that's kind of confusing. So it ends up being 9 sets, and 3 of those sets are on different machines, different exercises for different muscle groups. So I'll normally focus on either arms, back, chest, core, legs, or full body. I'll normally do like 3 sets on this machine, 3 sets on that machine, 3 sets on this machine, all focusing on one muscle group. And then I'll move on, and then I'll cycle that and start over on different machines doing the same exercise, something similar or something like that. So it ends up being a total of 6 different sets, 2 cycles as I would call it. I don't know where I got 9 earlier, but either way, I do 2 cycles, I guess 9 sets each for each exercise. So try to figure it out in my blog. It's up there. It's not that confusing. I just have doing a poor job of explaining it. The only rule is that I do I usually try to push myself pretty hard, especially right off the bat. I was really getting into it and I was really excited about it. So now it's kind of toned down and I'm like just trying to stay with the groove, stay with it. So let's see, Monday, easily the worst day of the week. So like I said, I do yoga. Tuesday after the warm up, I do as many pull-ups as I can. Pull-ups are just a good way to measure how strong you are overall. I've always measured like many pull-ups as I can do. Kind of puts you is your overall like success rate, because that's like, I don't know, just to me it seems like if you can do that, you can do a lot of other stuff. And so I couldn't do 10 in one go. I could probably do like 4 at the most. But now I can do 10. I can do like a set of 10 reps, and I can get up to about 15 before I'm like just dead. And then I just move on, next thing. So that's the only one I do every Tuesday to get my body back into the groove. The rest of the day, I do usually a light workout, focusing on arms. Usually it's an arm day. Since I start with pull-ups, I usually do the rest of arms, and either back or abs or something more core oriented, or legs. So the next day, I don't ever really do chest or arms in the same day. Just like I've always done it that way, like chest and tries, biceps and back are always kind of the 2 groups you do together. It's kind of a core theme here, but not strict at all. So the next day on Wednesday, I'll do it's a light warm up again, more reps, less weight. So I'll go into benching, then flies, and either some back, core, or legs, usually ending on a flurry of planks and push-ups. So 10-second holds of planks, and then 10 push-ups, repeat till you've done each 30 times. So 30 seconds of planks total, and 30 seconds or 30 push-ups. And then at the end, warm down. So every workout is a warm up and warm down period. So keep that in mind. Thursday, warm up, heavy sets of arms. Since I'm rotating from Tuesday, since I do arms, and I always do, it's a heavy set of arms. So it's going to be pushing yourself, trying to gain new records and new goals. And on squats, I always do squats on this day. Squats are a really important part of your health. So when you're, I've just read online that squats help your whole body deal with the fact that you're pushing up a lot of weight. It helps your calcification in your bones, and it helps your muscles deal to just prepare to build muscle. So it's just good for you all around. If you want to, afterwards, you definitely want to kind of work your way down in your legs. So doing some light lunges or squats without any weight is good to just kind of keep everything moving, but more light. And then you want to probably do some hammy and quad stretches, especially if you're an old man or something like that. Then you want to warm down. So the mile run, that's also kind of a stretch. So you're going to get your full range of motion back doing that. Friday, do a warm up, heavy set chest and tris. So I usually try to max out a bench here, do a lot of triceps, just really destroy my body in a good way. So the muscle group's really isolated and they feel a lot of impact from working out. You want to feel that working out going into Saturday and Sunday. Say you got that pool party you want to show up at, flex those pecs, make those arms look good. You'll feel good. Warm down on Friday. Make sure you get that mile in before the weekend. Now in the weekends, I just take it easy. After the diet, I've kind of started eating shitty again, drinking more on the weekends. I went to Vegas actually during, I think my third week. I think it was the beginning of my third week on this. And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But let's just say that I broke my diet a lot there, and I got back right back on it on the next day back. And you have to. So just stay with that. My first couple of weeks though, first couple of weekends, I would squeeze in about 40 push-ups or a short 2 to 3 mile run, and that would put me in a good place for the rest of the week. And you don't have to do that, but it's definitely good if you're at a party and then lethargic the next day and you don't have anything to do. If you're gonna eat or something, or if you're gonna go get a big meal or eat a lot of carbs, essentially, you're just gonna want to kind of cancel that out. Essentially, like this is a cancel out thing. So that's what it is. So let's look at the results. Early when I got my test results back, I had, low HDL cholesterol, which is your good cholesterol, 31 milligrams, DL, whatever that is, low VLDLs, 55 milligrams, and high triglycerides at 273. It looks like I under-exaggerated before, but it's 273 were my bad. And if we look at the test results afterward, first of all, I got a note from my doctor in my email saying, "Hey, you did a great job with your exercise." And I went in for the blood test, told him everything I was taking. He said, "Wow, good job on your research." He said the fiber was really a great move to adding that to the diet. He also said vitamin D was great. He said the fish oil was exactly what he would have done too. He was impressed that I did all that on my own. He didn't actually recommend any of that, so take that with a grain of salt. He didn't recommend it because he's a doctor, so it may not have been necessary. But at the same time, getting on this regimen feels good. It makes your body respond when you put it to work and you do have goals in mind. So just do all that and it will work and it'll work for you. So, and the lab results look good. HDL cholesterol, 1 point shy away of being back to normal. So this is the only one that I didn't get back to normal. Everything else was good. I brought everything back to healthy levels. LDL cholesterol was in range at 87 milligrams per DL. My VLDLs were 29 milligrams DL. My triglycerides were at a nice 145 milligrams DL. So everything's looking good. Bad cholesterol down, good cholesterol up, and almost in normal range. And I took that to mean I still did a good job. And you should too if you can get any of these back back on track slowly, that's fine. I recommend going if you really have a lot of bad cholesterol and you have a ton of struggling. I would make this a 2 or 3 time process. Go get blood work every time, and get your doctor in on it too, and he can help you or she can help you. And but definitely get that worked out. I got everything worked out. I was really proud of myself. It feels good to have followed some regimen that I put in place. That's not super strict, but it works. Knowing how to stay disciplined takes an admission of honesty about how you are normally, and admitting that a lot of it is distracting yourself from your cravings and your needs. I can't stress enough at how much the fiber and appetite suppressing works with, and if you just need some higher spiritual help, the meditation and the yoga and the good vibe stuff is really helpful. Also, one trick you can do is to tell a lot of your friends that you're doing this. Tell them you have bad cholesterol and that this is your goal. And if they start trying to be a bad influence or they say we need to go eat somewhere shitty, offer to go to coffee instead. Offer to not go drinking, but do something instead. Let's go on a walk. Let's do this. Let's do that. I mean, there's a lot of other things that you can actually do that you can to avoid these bad situations. But on the flip side, definitely reward yourself. Okay, once in a while, let's assume that you're pretty moderate with your habits and everything. Go out for a night on the town. Strut your stuff with your new body, and flex some muscles in front of some women and shit. So you feel better. You'll be. I actually did do that. I went up to people and I'm like, check this out, and I'd be totally full of it, and they tell me to shut up, and it was great, very rewarding. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this story. If you want to know anything more, I was trying to keep out a lot of the personal feelings and stuff, just essentially because I knew I was going to go along here with all the details. Again, I'd refer to my blog for any more detailed information about my diet, about what I bought. Essentially, this is a quick way that I found to fix my cholesterol. And I think if I were to keep having problems, I would just refer to this guide and keep doing it. Although I would maybe get bored and maybe switch it up or get the advice of some doctors and really kind of dig in more. I think the next goal will be keep building this body out, keep leaning it out, build some muscle, and keep losing weight, and staying strong on the moderate drinking and good carb diet. So, all right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, if you want more information, please feel free to comment or tweet at me, David Blaine, at David Blaine. The L in my last name is a 1. That's the only thing. DAVID B1ANE. And the 1 is a number 1, not spelled out. So, because it's supposed to be an L. It's supposed to look like an L. Otherwise, you guys have a great time this week and coming up. I think Labor Day is coming up here. I can't promise I would have another episode out on time. It's actually been probably 8 months, so I apologize, but can't wait to do another one. Hope this is good information for y'all. Thank you.